All right, team. Welcome back to Plastic Surgery Untold, Season 3, Episode 1, bigger than the Ozarks release that just happened on Netflix. You're welcome. We're back. And we're starting the year off with a bang. Today, we're going to circle back to EON. I know that we had talked about this laser fat reduction, teach you guys a little bit about it last year, but it's here, it's present. Some of us have already had some treatments, letting you in our beauty secrets. But before we get to all the good stuff, we got our celebrity cast. Let's go around the room, check in with everybody, see what's going on, see how their treatments have gone so far, and see what's going on. Let's start with the lovely Nurse Sarah Mack.
All right. Hello, guys. I am really excited for this new year. We've got lots of devices and surprises and tunes, so we'll be releasing those one by one.
You haven't had an EON treatment yet. You're already looking fine without it.
Right, I know. I do need a little bit of EON, though. We'll talk to y'all about how this works.
Yay. Christine, what's going on?
We're getting super busy in the office with EON. I've had a lot of wives call in and book for their husbands, and the men are super excited about this treatment because it's painless, so they're definitely feeling that aspect of it.
I would say painless is relative. I mean, I took one or two little breaks, but it's doable. It's doable.
It's tolerable.
Yeah.
Yes. And the fact that they can go back to work. They're loving that.
But Christine didn't want to talk me through it. She's like, I'll be back.
It's easy.
G?
Right, Gilbert?
Oh,
Yeah.
just like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
you're done. That's all you got to share with the people.
Yeah.
No, okay, thank you. No, Christine's on a schedule, so we can't keep her too long. Thank you, Christine. Gilbert.
Oh, super excited to be a part of Awesome Plastic Surgeons team.
Oh, boom, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome, G. Thanks for joining our
Thank
team.
you. If you may recall, on one of our last episodes before the end of the year, we dropped a little nugget. So at this point, I've now been with APS for almost 2 months now.
Damn. How's it going?
So far,
Do a
so
little
good.
check-in?
Yeah. Everything's going great.
What about...
This is actually your quarterly review.
please DM us. Let us know what you think. We should keep him not. We only got another month left, of his 90-day probation. So time's ticking down.
Fingers crossed.
You did a little EON.
I did do a little.
How'd it go?
It was good. It was good. It was super easy.
Okay.
Yeah, I also had to take a couple breaks because it does get a little toasty.
Did Christine hold your hand, or she left you as well?
No, she left me.
Yeah, thank you, Christine. But for all of you listening, she won't leave you. She'll walk you through it. She's very, got this calming, soothing voice. So I've heard from all of our patients. So I haven't actually experienced
Only
it.
during the treatments.
I actually haven't even gotten a facial from Christine. She's too busy for me.
Neither of you
Yeah.
have.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
T-Bone, what's going on with you?
Not much, man.
Hopefully you're getting more love than G-berto.
trying to take over the world, just like you and G and the crew. But yeah, things have been good, man. Just ready to kick off this year with the bang. We've got some big stuff in store with the business, and a lot of cool stuff coming up.
But you got a tat.
I did get a tat.
He got a neck tat.
I did get a neck tat.
some
You're gonna have
lips.
to see.
That's why he's got
Mary's lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right here on my
Can you
neck.
tell us the story about this tat you got?
Yeah, so Mary and
It's right above his butt crack, one of the little
Exactly.
little stamps.
It's a little stamp. It's a tiny little
I can't
stamp.
say that.
He's got lips right above his butt crack.
Yes. No. We found this really good tattoo artist. His name's East, out in LA. In West Hollywood, and my wife Mary at Your Trendy Therapist, your shameless plug, number one for the year.
Yeah.
She went out and she got one on her forearm from him that says "Be the change." It's kind of her life motto and the way that she runs her business. Be the change that you want to see in the world. And I was like, man, that is really neat. The guy did such a good job. It's all fine line tattooing, and I was like, you know what? I want to get something too. So we went to LA 2 weeks ago, and I got something on my arm, and it just says "Give thanks," and it's a nice little reminder to give thanks for where we're at, and just be present and be in the moment, because I feel like it's super easy, especially over the past year with the business, to get caught up in the rat race and go and build, but really realizing like we're super fortunate and we're blessed with everything that we do have and the opportunities that are in front of us. So just a nice little reminder to stay present.
Too blessed to stress.
Too blessed to stress. I'll have to do that on my back. I'm gonna need more room than the side of my arm.
Well,
yeah.
well, you're welcome to your thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so his name is East, but he's in West Hollywood.
East in West Hollywood.
Okay.
That's
just
interesting.
yeah.
And then for those of you that are watching on YouTube or Instagram, I do have my fancy scarf. I
You
think
do?
this is my first scarf ever, thanks to G-berto, a little Christmas gift.
There
so
you go.
trying to
You're
look
welcome.
fine here, trying to keep up with the lovely Nurse Sarah Mack. So
Well-
tough job, but do what I can.
It is a little chilly here in Austin, Texas today. So the scarf is fitting. And I think it's like 45 degrees outside.
Yeah,
Very appropriate.
Very
freezing. But let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about EON. Would one of our lovely, fine-looking ladies like to let the world in about how they can look fine as well? Little EON, give us a little clip notes, if you will.
Yeah, so I'll start a couple things that we really love about it. Number one, it's touchless. So there's no trauma, no injury topically to the skin. It also has a cooling device on top. So when you actually are finished with the treatment, if you kind of place your hand on top of the skin, it's very cool. And then add a little added pressure, you can feel the depth at which that fat heats up in order to destroy it and take some inches off your waist.
And I think this is something to not overdo this, because touchless and people are like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I know that was a hot thing during COVID stuff, but even more than that, because this device was designed years ago. And so, right, the amount of time that comes into it, but the preciseness of the robotic laser, because it actually, images the area that you're going to do it. It's super precise in terms of the smoothness, because with some other devices out there, they're based just on like suction cups. They're based on other things that, depending on people's body frame, figures, skin stuff, there's different amounts in which they can hold and fit and stuff, because this is just hovering over you in terms of a laser and it scans it. I think the difference in its preciseness, the smoothness, the area in which it covers is super, super unique. And so it's more than just like, hey, it's this cool, everyone loves a laser, but I think the technology and the preciseness is really super unique.
Yeah, it's been a really awesome machine to work with. It's been pretty easy for setup. We bring you into the office, we take some before photos, we do some measurements, and then get started. Each segment takes about 20 minutes, so not too time consuming either.
And I've seen it a little bit on Instagram, and you guys have shown some pictures of it, but can you explain it for everybody that's not, watching us or has a picture of it in front of them, kind of what it looks like? It's like a robotic arm, right?
Yeah, so it's pretty much it's connected to the actual device that we're touching and kind of programming. And then there's an extend option to where the arm extends over the area that we're treating. So abdomen, flanks, inner thighs. There's lots of areas. We'll talk about that. And then it does some test runs, and it actually scans the surface of the skin. It makes sure that the distance is appropriate. It kind of does a lot of the work for us. And get started.
Can you maybe you or Gilbert give us a little what can people expect, like how much reduction, recovery, some of those things? Like, can you hit some of the highlights for us?
Yeah, for sure. The patients can work out the very next day, so there literally is no downtime. We actually want to keep you active, drinking lots of water. So those are two things I tell my patients to do after the treatment. As far as results, I do tell them not to really expect anything until about 3 to 4 weeks, just because I don't want them looking in the mirror every day. It is a slow process. The fat is leaving your body through your waist, basically. So again, the water and exercise is important. But as far as reduction goes, what was it, 27 up to 27%?
21 to 25% fat reduction, 1.6 to 2 inches off the waist per treatment, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of people back right now for 6 and 8 week follow-ups, and they're already seeing a change in their clothes and their dresses and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think those are the things that are important, because let's try and jump into it. Like, who's a good candidate for this? Because I think it's going to tie in like the reduction, the stuff that people have seen. G-berto, who would you say is a good candidate for EON?
I think there's a few different factors that go into that. First of all, someone who's healthy, I think, was ideal. We want to make sure that they're a healthy candidate. Someone whose BMI isn't extremely high, under 30 is what's recommended. Because I think with something greater than a 30 BMI, you're probably going to have some other issues, other complications that could arise, and you may not get the outcome that you're looking for, the benefits of the treatment. So someone with a lower BMI, I think, is ideal. And someone who has the right mindset, because the EON is a great treatment. It's a great option, non-surgical, but it also comes with making some lifestyle changes too. I think the only way that you're going to get the best results is if you are of the mindset that not only are you doing this treatment for yourself, but you also have to incorporate a good diet, good exercise plan. Otherwise, it's not going to give you the absolute optimal results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that you hit on a couple like super important parts, this isn't, and Christina alluded to this too, it's not a substitute for diet, exercise, healthy lifestyle. I mean, this is the icing on the cake, and it can either be jumpstart or finer little spots. I think like you were saying, people who are already in a good spot, because this isn't a weight reduction treatment. This is just changing your overall shape in terms of this, because remember, when we do a tummy tuck, your entire tummy tuck, flap tissue that we take out is about 3 pounds. So you can't expect EON to be, a whole lot more than that. It's more of changing the shape, the figure, just making you look good in your clothes or without clothes, whatever you prefer. But people who are in great physical shape and have some isolated areas, I think this is a great area, and this is one of those things when you come in and talk to one of the Sarahs or Christine, they'll help guide you and be like, what area is problem? Because the device does have, certain areas that it can fit and do, and then they work through that in the terms of the areas that are going to be super helpful.
Yeah, I've seen so many times different people come in with, like you said, trouble spots. They work out a lot, but they still have that little pooch at the lower abdomen. Or guys coming in like, I just can't get rid of these love handles. And with this device, we can actually target those. Whereas with, you talk to any personal trainer or anything, they're going to tell you you can't target fat loss, through diet and exercise. But with this device, you can actually kind of target an area and really just focus the efforts on that, just to kind of give you a better shape all around.
And I think this has been really nice, and you guys have been the front line doing the treatments, but people who have the very specific areas, I think this is great. The cool thing about coming through a plastic surgery office too is that it goes hand in hand, because there's people that I see that they have one tiny little area, and I'm like, hey, probably not worth going through a full surgery in terms of lipo, tummy tuck for one tiny little spot. On the flip side, if somebody comes to you and they're looking for a more drastic change, maybe a fat transfer, and we had this probably a week ago, Sarah, where you and I, somebody was thinking about doing a fat transfer procedure, wanted to do maybe some 360 lipo stuff, and it's like, hey, before you decide to go the EON route, let's have you talk to one of the surgeons. That way they can be fully informed of their options and the pros and cons of each. And I think that's really nice, because if the only thing you have in your toolkit is a hammer, everybody gets a hammer, you know? And so it's nice to be able to look at the different routes in terms of this.
Yeah, I love that. That patient was super thankful. That's what's nice about being, like you said, at a plastics office, because I was able to bring you in and say, hey, do you think she's a lipo candidate? Could kind of go either way. So she bought into the EON and we did a treatment, and she's been super happy so far. So.
That's awesome.
The other kind of cool thing in terms of surgery combination that has been neat with this is there's some areas that are difficult to treat with surgery, and sometimes it's because the surgeries get too long, sometimes because of skin laxity, sometimes because it's different things. And I know I'm jumping ahead, but this is just an area that I think is going to explode and just should, because it's so hard to treat. The infamous banana rolls right below the butt, and we do a lot of butt stuff. I've been trying to get that plugged in, but so we do a lot of
Every
stuff,
episode.
and that's an
Every
area
episode.
where if you get too aggressive lipo in that area, it can cause a lot of problems. Can break up some of those natural bands at the bottom of the butt that C cups you, that gives you that nice round shape, and so that's an area with the EON you can just shave some of that down really nicely. Some people who are super fit, and to Gilbert's point, just a little outer thigh, they have that little bulge that in their leggings, Lululemon stuff, just they feel like affects their shape just a tiny touch, and those areas where you just need a little shave, I think this is priceless. I think this is phenomenal.
I think the banana roll treatment is going to be amazing for that. For sure.
I think even
you get a lot of patients asking about that. Yeah.
even guys, like areas like trouble spots in the chest area. Some guys, have a little extra tissue in the like fat tissue around the chest area. We could really shape them down with EON if we target that, because this device is, although it's only FDA approved for the abdomen, we treat other areas off label, and pretty much anything below the clavicle, below the collarbone is fair game.
And maybe let's talk about that. So, I think people sometimes get confused. It's FDA approved for the abdomen because that was the initial studies that were done. So that's what it was approved for.
Yeah.
As providers, there's other areas that we can treat to our discretion with, discussion with the patient. And maybe do you guys want to kind of go from
Top to
neck
bottom?
down,
Yeah, that's what I'm
areas that you guys have treated, areas that you've seen the best kind of value? Obviously, everybody's a little different.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, recently this week we had a lot of gentlemen and we did chest area, we did flanks and abdomen in one session. And then bra fat's super popular. And back to your point about patients that might be a candidate for surgery versus EON, I know you've sent me a couple patients that didn't actually have enough fat for a fat transfer or BBL. So I've been doing a lot of combo treatments with the EON under the banana roll, under the butt cheek, and then do some M-sculpt to kind of lift the butt muscle. And that's been turning out really nice too.
Yeah, and we did the buffalo hump procedure, the fat pad up by the top of the neck. I think that's going to be really popular too. A lot of people have that. You guys did that in the office the other day.
Great.
Posterior arms, like you said, bra roll, upper lower abdomen, back flanks, inner outer thighs.
Inner
so
thighs, a
we've got
big
lots
one.
of options.
It's kind of interesting, because inner thighs, is another area that sometimes we have to be a little cautious because we worry about loose skin, contour deformities. Leg stuff is things that's a little different. And I'm not saying you can't lipo them, and we do it often, but got to be a little careful. Love handles, back stuff. When I'm lipoing, I go to town. I mean, that's an area where we can super snatch people, get that shape. But
That's where the sweat starts flowing, man. That's when you're working.
But the legs, you got to be a little careful because you create some hail damage on those legs, and that's
sure.
really hard to fix.
And I mean, correct me if I'm wrong too. Even back arms too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean that's
No
that's
question.
an area that you can hollow out pretty easily, and that's a really nice
And
place
it's
to be
just
able to
thinner,
treat with the EON.
I personally had, I'll share with you guys, and if you want to watch our Instagram or even TikTok at Austin Plastic Surgeon. I mean, sometimes I feel like a little TikTok on TikTok because they throw all of our stuff out. But
no.
but I did my love handles recently,
Yeah.
so we did kind of a cool video of my whole treatment stuff. I'll tell you, sometimes hard to see yourself in some little paper shorts. And ain't nobody looking fine in some paper shorts, but
You look great.
You didn't do the mesh panties?
Well, they made me wear these weird, like, not really long shorts, but not really short shorts, non-flattering.
tweeners?
Yeah, I
Puffy
did the
shorts.
tweeners, and they didn't show off the great butt that I have. I don't know what was going on there. But also, too, if you watch the video, I'm expecting twins, so it looked really good. But my love handles, I'll tell you my experience, just so you guys listening know, is, that's just an area that I feel like always made me look a little something. And even when I was lean, I feel like love handles never went away. My belly does, my face goes down. Just the love handle is just an area that stays for me. And so I thought that'd be a good first treatment for myself. It's an area that bothers me. I wouldn't say it was 100% painless. Definitely got through it. Did both sides. There's a cool little thing where it cools you off. You can take a little break if you're a little hot. I joke with Christine, but Christine and the Sarahs sit with you the whole time. So if something's uncomfortable, they'll help tweak it. A lot of the art of this is really just making sure, like, designing the device so that the laser fits you just perfectly. And so I think that's what's super important, because there's a couple different ways to do this. But I did one side, flipped over, did the other side, was done. Ready to go. I didn't really hurt afterwards. If I rubbed the area, I felt a little soreness for probably 2 or 3 days. But that's only if I was touching it or something. But in my mind, actually kind of cool, because I felt like something got done. And so I feel like I haven't taken my after pictures yet, but just from clothes stuff, I feel like I see a difference in my shirts, because I haven't changed my shirt since COVID started. I actually went and bought my first dress shirt in 2 years, about a week ago. But I feel like my shirts fit me a little bit differently. So we'll see. It'll be interesting here in 2 or 3 weeks. So
awesome.
Stay posted.
Yeah, and that's why we take the measurements too at the appointments. Then we can take your after measurements. So results, starting at 6 weeks, optimal at 12. So truly 3 months isn't too long of a time to wait, get you in before summer. The quick cool treatment that you were talking about, that pauses your treatment for 10 seconds and cools the surface layer of the skin if you feel like it's just getting a little too hot in that area. It doesn't take any time off your treatment though. So it's just a 10-second pause, which is kind of cool, just to give you a little break.
Christine, Gilbert, did you guys have a different experience that you want to share? I know I'm a little bit of a big baby in terms of pain, so wanted to see how you guys felt about it. I don't want to give them any misconceptions.
So on a scale from 1 to 10,
On the Fernando
Oh,
scale.
can T-Bone set the standard of what this pain scale is supposed to be?
So 0 is, no pain at all. You're chilling in a hammock. having a Mai Tai. 10 is getting mauled by a bear while on fire.
The bear is on fire, or you're on fire?
You're on fire,
I'm
and
on
the bear
fire,
is eating you.
and the bear is eating me.
Yeah.
Damn.
I would say
That's intense.
I would put it at maybe like a 3 or a 4.
No, all right,
Not bad.
Not bad.
not bad at all.
Yeah,
I've
especially with those little 10-minute little pauses.
Yeah.
It really helps.
One of the things I
it
think-
does get. I'm sorry, not to interrupt you, but it does get warm. So on the surface of the skin, it's nice and cool because of that cool air that's being shot onto the skin. But the heat is going down into the dermis, so it feels warm for sure.
I feel like it was more painful to be in these paper shorts and have the Sarahs make fun of my socks.
Yeah.
So here I'm super vulnerable, and they're making fun of my socks. So that was hurtful.
I think an important thing to touch on that a lot of our clients have asked is, what do I expect as soon as the treatment starts? A lot of them, if you're talking 3 or 4, think that when the laser turns on, it's just instant 3 to 4 pain. I think an important thing to note about the treatment is that in the first 6 minutes, it gradually warms up. So you kind of notice an increase. And then at the 6-minute mark, that's technically the warmest that it should get. So I think people kind of have a really good idea. And then you get through the last 15 minutes or so at a pretty comfortable.
And obviously everyone's pain threshold is different, right? And some areas of the body might be a little bit more sensitive than others.
Yes, I was going to say so I had my lower and my upper abdomen. My lower abdomen was a little more spicy than my upper. It felt like icy hot to me. It was hot and cold at the same time. My brain was kind of confused. It never really hurt. And also, don't forget, we can put a little sticker if you have like a particular area that's really spicy or bothering you. We put a little sticker to cover that to protect the skin. The heat still penetrates down past the skin and into the fat cells, so you're still getting a good treatment. And then to your note is being in the puffy shorts, we did get some nice fluffy black robes.
Yeah.
I really try to pride, myself and Austin Plastic Surgeon on keeping our patients comfortable and keeping the treatment really fancy and nice. So yesterday I had my patient watching sports. I let him take a break to have a snack. It's
Nothing like
comfortable.
getting EON and eating some pizza. If anyone watches our Instagram,
We have healthy
snacks.
snacks in the room.
we caught one of our nurses after her EON treatment in a little pizza, and so.
Oh, no.
And I just want to circle back because I know you touched on this a little bit, but EON's different, so it's not like lipo tummy tuck where you're going to see a difference instantly. Even that, results take a long time to see, so you'll feel the treatment. The next day, you're not going to see anything. Slowly gets better over the next several weeks to months. And actually it takes 3 to 6 months to see the 100% full result stuff. So, and everybody's a little bit different, but typically after 3 or 4 weeks, most people start to see a difference.
Yeah. That's usually, with other fat reduction procedures I've done in the past, I would bring them back at 30 days. Some patients see a change, some don't. Everybody's metabolism is different, level of activity. But usually by 3 months, everybody's pretty impressed. And then we talk about doing a second treatment. There's some patients that may need a second treatment. There's not really a limit on how many times we can treat the area. We just want to put some space in between it to let the inflammation process settle and all that. So I think right now we're waiting the 3 months to do a second treatment, but I know with other devices, the further along they were doing them, the protocols change and you can do them a little sooner. So I'd like to start doing them at 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah,
That being said, just to kind of piggyback on what Christina's saying, just because we wait 3 months to treat an area doesn't mean you can't come back and treat a separate area.
Good point.
True.
So, in theory, you can have a treatment done on your abdomen one day and come back the very next day and treat your flanks.
And a lot of that is just dependent on people's own schedule, time, and so forth. Because like Christine said, a segment, is about 20 to 30 minutes. There's an initial process of kind of evaluating you, making sure what works right, and then actually, drawing this out because we do have to map it out for the laser of exactly where we're going to treat. So that's what eats up time. Once the treatment actually starts, that's about 20 minutes. And so people don't get confused. A segment is just the area that the laser can treat at any one time. So it varies a little bit. An abdomen could be 2 or 3 segments.
Right. I was going to say yesterday I treated flanks, abdomen, and the chest, and I want to say it was about 2 hours from start to finish, from the time Gilbert came in and cleared the patient, pictures, bathroom breaks. It was about 2.5 hours.
And so like an abdomen, is that correct? About 2 to 3 segments for an abdomen?
Yep.
And then for like a banana roll would typically be 1 segment for each leg.
Mm-hmm.
What about flanks? Is that typically 1 or 2 segments per side?
2.
2 total, so 1 on each side.
Yep.
And then same thing, 1 segment for like each upper back kind of bra roll type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they provide us with small, medium, and large little templates that we actually place on the skin, and then we outline the area just to be sure that we've got the exact target area. Let the patient look in the mirror, be sure that they're happy, we're happy, and get started.
Just with T-Bone's big tattoo that he got over his lower back area, it's just so not for him to be disappointed that he can't get his sacral Victoria's Secret, area EON.
Yep.
We can't do the EON over tattoos, correct?
Right.
It'll damage the ink.
One contraindication. So
So T-Bone's still unfortunately still going to have to get his lipo for his Victoria's Secret area to shape that butt. But just something to keep in mind, and we'll help guide you with that. If it's a tiny little spot, we can put a sticker over it. If you got kind of the whole wraparound, full body stuff, that area is something that we won't be able to treat. But we'll examine you. We'll let you know what areas can and can't. But just something to at least know.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
And all skin types are fair game too.
Which is super interesting, especially when you start talking about lasers. And I think sometimes people who are in the know, that's a very, very, very common question.
Yeah.
And then just you guys, what do you tell people in terms of going back to the gym and stuff? I know we alluded to it at the beginning, but just to kind of sum up some of that, what do you tell people in terms of exercise? Can they go to the gym afterwards, wait a day, wait a week, wait a month?
I think
Can I
for,
wait a month?
technically you would be able to work out the same day. In my experience with some of the other devices I use just for liability purposes, we ask people to wait till the next day, just in case you pass out at the gym and you think it's the EON, but you just went too hard that day or something. So just the next day is great. I mean, you feel fine. We did it on our lunch breaks and went back to work. I mean, you're not walking around in pain. I tell people if you push on the area, you might be a little tender, but you shouldn't be walking around sore or anything like that. So.
I went to the gym a month ago. I hurt my back. I haven't been. I went hard.
You went too hard.
I went too hard. Just
Hello.
too hard.
Too soon.
What about anesthesia? Is this something that we need, T-Bone, or no? Because if we don't, that's phenomenal.
Unreal.
I think we can save you some money.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be one less private jet in for the year.
I mean, if somebody really needed like a Pronox or something, we could do it. But that's been rare. I don't think that we've had anything. And like I said, I'm probably the biggest baby, and I did fine. So even Fernando, who thought Kybella was being mauled by a bear while on fire, he tolerated it so well.
I couldn't believe
so
it.
if the Fernando can tolerate
Anyone
this,
can get through it.
anyone can. This is true.
That's fair.
This is true. Any other kind of nugget stuff about EON that people should know?
I think the common question we get is, can I have my consult and be treated on the same day? So typically if patients are calling to book and you're very interested, we can block it out enough time that we can get a segment or 2 in the same day. And then to Gilbert's point, you could come back the following week, do the flanks, following week, do the arms. So we can get you in pretty quick.
Awesome.
It just kind of depends on the amount of time you block out and what
Right.
you're thinking and,
Yeah.
and so forth like that.
Yeah.
And then the last part in terms of that, and you guys had already said it, we don't do anything above the clavicles because it is a true laser. Want to be really careful around the eyes,
Yeah.
and so that's we actually all do wear those fancy glasses, goggle stuffs. You'll wear them during your treatment. We wear them during the treatment we're in with you, just because we sit with you the whole time, making sure everything goes super smooth and perfect and everything for you. It's only 20 minutes. We want to make sure you're comfortable. If we need to give you a break, we can do that. Want to just be there with you the whole time to walk you through it. And so, you're our priority.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I'm excited.
What's a little nugget of?
Ooh.
Do you got a little?
I got a little nugget.
Yeah,
There we go, a
Is,
little
is this our
behind the
behind the
Bovie?
Bovie
This is
segment?
our behind the Bovie.
Okay, yeah, let me know.
So behind the Bovie, something you guys didn't know about EON, and I think it's cool. Maybe you guys don't, but this was designed by 2 different entities. One were these like really super smart like laser engineers and physicists, and the other was NASA. So NASA and these like really smart laser engineers came together and created EON because they use jet propulsion to blow the cool air onto the skin to cool the skin on the surface, and that's like NASA technology. So I thought that was super cool.
That's really nice.
And I'm a big science nerd, so
That's really
Awesome.
awesome.
Another interesting. Someone got invited to their pre-launch advisory board to see like if they want to still go forward with this when because some of these groups are struggling to do some of this, and so it was interesting. That was probably about 2 or 3 years ago.
That's awesome.
So probably 2 or 3 years before we ever brought EON aboard. I was part of some group for that. So
That's
kind
cool.
of interesting.
That's neat.
Can we get a quote of the day?
I got one teed up for us. I think it's very fitting for the EON and what you were talking about before. This is a nice little starter to get in the zone of fitness, and maybe it's just that first little step that you need, or maybe it's that little extra push that you need, the little extra training wheels that you need to hop back on the bike. So this is from Steve Maraboli, and it says, "Take action. Every inch of movement will bring you closer to your goals than a mile of intention."
That's phenomenal.
I like
'Cause
that.
I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people talk about stuff, but action is like, it's where it is. And so take your first step.
Yeah.
Don't
Oh.
miss me.
And then let's take inches off.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
bringing it home.
1.6
Love it.
to 2 specifically.
Yes.
Can each of you give us one summary point that you want everybody to know about EON? Nurse Sarah?
One, I think that it's painless. You can come in on your lunch break, and I think that's an awesome thing about it. Give us an hour of your time. We can get you started.
Yeah. I just want to let my patients know that a lot of these issues they come in with, we have multiple things that can help. Sometimes it's not just EON. Sometimes it's a combination of EON and building muscle. And I really want to incorporate the M-Sculpt with this to kind of get people really just, toned in their midsection, because that's probably the biggest complaint area. And then we also have people that ask about loose skin too, and we got something coming for that. So.
And that's an interesting point, just so we're super, super clear. EON, just like any other fat reduction, true device, or liposuction, does not treat skin laxity. And if there's a skin laxity issue, there's things we can do. There's some non-invasive, depending on the degree of skin laxity. There's some minimally invasive. If there's more skin laxity, then sometimes, Dr. Weinfeld and I are still relevant. And we do have to do surgery, depending on where it is. If it's face, more face, neck lift stuff. If it's, body stuff, then, tummy tuck, butt lift, those type of things. So, but we'll help you guide with that, because we try to be super upfront with you. Hey, if this is a skin issue, we'll say, hey, this is a skin issue, and go from there. And that's just some of Sarah's point. We hate to say, hey, you're going to get a treatment, because maybe there isn't a treatment for it and we need to do something else, and so we'll help guide you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of our patients get clearance by Gilbert when they come in. So definitely between, the two of us, the three of us, everybody who's seeing the patient, we'd be able to tell them what treatment was best, whether it's non-invasive or surgery.
Or nothing.
Or nothing. You're
Or
perfect.
They're already just looking fine and don't
Yes.
need us. Yeah. G?
I think one thing to keep in mind is that this device is super inclusive, both male, female, all skin types, provided that they're a healthy patient with the right mindset, willing to make lifestyle changes. I think it's a great treatment option. I think all too often the stigma of aesthetic medicine or plastic surgery, things like that, affects like our male patients a little differently. Like maybe they feel like, oh, it's not for me, or maybe they're a little too insecure to seek the help. But I think something like this is something that should draw more men into at least having the conversation. Because there's a lot of guys out there that have trouble spots that they'd love to address and get rid of, and this is a great opportunity to kind of target some of those areas.
Absolutely. Yeah.
No question. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, look at myself. I've talked about doing some surgeries mostly for my eyes and some of those. So Dr. John O'Dad, I'm still coming to see at some point to get my LASIK done. But this is just so easy. Get going, and even that, I still get in my own head and get away. But like, maybe I don't need it. And now that I've done it, I've been so happy. So it's super cool.
Treat yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't take care of yourself, who's going to?
Right. It's a good jump start, I think, to just come in, get something done, and then long-lasting motivation, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
T-Bone, any last comments?
I'm just bummed that you guys aren't going to get to see me for these treatments.
I know, you're
but
too
I'm
lean.
no, I'm in from an anesthesia perspective.
I thought you meant from all of his tests.
Right? Yeah. Which contraindication are you?
No, but
He
I
wants
think
his banana rolls done.
Yeah, that's right. I just think it's super cool that it is a relatively painless procedure, and it's quick turnaround, and there's no downtime. I think this is a slam dunk.
One more thing. I think the people are ready for something new. Cool Sculpting and a lot of the other RF devices and stuff have been on the market for a long time. So people are super excited, like a new laser, and it's a robot. So it's pretty cool. I'm excited to have it in the office.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, team, I think that wraps up our EON segment, which is super exciting. We've just had such good feedback. I think this is such a new and different technology. We want to share a little bit more with all of you. So appreciate our celebrity cast who got up on an early morning to come and spend time and share their knowledge with all of you. So thank you to all of you. thank you for all of you that listen and let us do what we love doing. So Plastic Surgery Untold, you can download this anywhere you get your favorite podcast, Pandora, Spotify, iHeart, and of course iTunes. Also, don't forget you can check us out on YouTube as well. So we'll see you guys soon. All right, thanks.
Come see
Bye.
my neck tat.
Nice.